Hey there, my name is Andrew Bedian. I am the core designer on Sprint Vector.
What are you showing here at GEC with Sprint Vector?
So Sprint Vector, we got a two-player setup right here. Sprint Vector is a adrenaline platformer, which means you're running through these courses at incredibly high speeds, and we have people running through them on solo runs, and on top of that, we're racing people head-to-head. So getting some good footage from that.
So instantly, I have to say, how do you handle locomotion in VR? Because that's one of the most controversial things right now in game design.
Of course. So Sprint Vector uses what we call the fluid locomotion system. We call it the fluid locomotion system because you transition from sprinting to jumping to flying to climbing, and you fluidly go between these states. The way you get moving is you put your hand out, hold down the trigger, swing your arm down, and on the way down you release. This causes an impulse to come out of the back of your hand and sends you going forward. We have a bunch of subsystems that are basically helping you out. We call this intended motion. There's things that, regardless of how you run, like if you run like this, side to side, no matter what you're doing, we get you going straight and where you need to be going.
So people don't get sick doing it? How come people don't get motion sickness doing locomotion this way?
So primarily because it is ARM-based and it's all in the player's control, that's the very first thing that makes it not like other locomotion systems. On top of that, we have a ton of tuning going into it, a lot of math, a lot of these subsystems that are really helping out, and basically really important easing. Yeah.
So what was it like working with Unreal and with the HTC Vive, and what did they provide you in terms of tech and support to help make this game reality?
So we always have Unreal support. We always have we're like a phone call away if we have any questions, anything like that, and we have a great relationship with them. So I know our engineer was talking back and forth with some of their guys throughout the process.
So talk about the gameplay. So you're transitioning for different sprint modes. Talk about some of those sprint modes and how you activate those sprint modes.
So you get running with trigger. So really there's only 3 buttons. So you have your brakes, which are on your grips. You hold both those, you come straight to a stop. You have jump, which is using the touchpad, and we've put everything else on trigger. So you could do trigger, you get into the rhythm, so you get sprinting, and then when you want to jump, you basically do the same thing but with touchpad. So you can get, you actually have 2 jumps, so you can jump once and then jump again. And then when you're in the air, if you hold down both triggers and put your arms out, you will start to fly forward. And you can steer yourself like this. You can turn while you're running just by looking in a direction, sprinting in that direction. And you can actually slam back to the ground. If you're in the air and you hold the brakes, you come straight back down.
You guys are no stranger to VR. Your studio did raw data. What did you learn from that game that made Sprint Vector possible or make it just a better game?
So, I mean, they're very different games, but the very first thing that kind of tipped us off is in raw data, we have the teleshift. The teleshift, it gives you the sensation of flying through space incredibly fast. So that was kind of a tip-off, like, okay, maybe speed is not the issue. Maybe it's the way that you do speed. Everything past that, Sprint Vector is a very different experience, but the thing that binds them together is this idea of active VR, that you are actively playing in this experience and the driving force of everything that's happening.
So at CES last year, HTC announced their tracker. Do you think you'll make use of that in Sprint Vector at all?
So I've been asked this a couple of times. I haven't had the chance yet to use the tracker. I would love to. I want to kick something really badly. And we're definitely going to look into it. We like the idea that a lot of the locomotion is in the hands, though, because that allows to have Sprint Vector to have this very fluid type of gameplay. But we'll take a look. Let's see
now you can jump, though.
That is true. Some people have just been jumping anyway because they're way too into it, and I love it.
So what platforms will this game be on? Are you guys aiming for a multi-platform release including PSVR?
So we are very platform agnostic. We're showing on Vive today just because we actually have Oculus on the other side showing raw data. It's really too early to say anything. This is a very, very early version of the product, and we're going to keep working on it and see where we come, where we get with it in the future. Yeah.
As a game designer, talk about PSVR and if you guys looked into PSVR at all, because you guys do basically AAA VR experiences, and if that can transfer well in the PS4 in its current state.
So we experiment with PSVR. We actually have everything at work just to play. It's all reference for us, right? I can't get into too much. Marketing would annihilate me. But we're definitely looking into everything.